So I just took some psilocybin a day ago, and it totally changed my experience and the way I look at everything. I'm gonna go through the experience real quick, right? I took the psilocybin, and at one point during the trip, I felt what felt like a beam, a concentrated beam of energy that was made out of the most indescribable, purest love. The love was so intense. It was the most intense love and the most intense feeling you could ever feel. The love was like pure, unadulterated, no strings attached acceptance. Just love in its highest form. It was so intense that it was almost like I couldn't stand much longer of it. Even though it was only like a fraction of a second, it was so intense that I started crying. And I knew that that was source energy talking to me or communicating with me. And then I started crying, and then I started laughing because I got it. I understood what was going on. The whole thing was that this life is a giant setup in order to direct us to learn how to love, right? So imagine somebody, a comedian. God is a comedian telling a joke. And you know how with a joke you have to have a setup? Life is the big setup. All the struggles you go through, all the good and bad, everything, all the fun times, all the bad times, it's all one big setup. And the punchline is love. Everything comes back to that love thing, right? People, we travel the world looking for this. We buy fancy stuff, we travel places, we seek relationships, we seek jobs, we do everything when the whole time the answer was right in front of us. You know what I mean? So it's like my boy put it this way. He said it's like looking for your car keys, but the whole time the car keys were in your pocket. So I'm sorry, there's a sound in the background. I hope you guys can't hear it. But yeah, it changed my perspective on everything. I used to be focused on the evil of the world, right? And a lot of times truthers would say, how come these new age people don't talk about the negativity? And I realized the reason they don't talk about the negativity is because when you experience source energy, like source love, there's no space for that negativity. The negativity and the evil and judgment is so trivial. Okay? Like so when you experience that love, there's no space for anything else. So all of this evil we see in this world is most likely just there to point us in the right direction, to get us back to what we are. You know? So that's what I think. I hope I'm not rambling too much. So I'm going to summarize everything. God is pure love. What we look at as human life is probably just a giant setup, an experiment, if you would, to get us back to experiencing this pure love and realizing that's the only thing that's important. It's like a big joke, a big hide and go seek where you had the answers the whole time in your pocket, and it's so simple. When you think about it, most of the issues humans have is because we're broken, right? Everybody has some past trauma, has some past brokenness that needs to be hugged, that needs to be accepted, that needs to be loved. Most of the human dysfunction comes down to a lack of love, whether it's love for yourself or love for other people. That's it. The murderers, the rapists, the thieves, all this stuff, the root cause is that you do not realize that you are love itself and you don't need anybody else to love you. You are essentially love. And if you feel like you're love, you can spread that to other people. So instead of you reacting in a harmful way, you can learn to love that person, accept that person, help them work through them, through their issues or whatever. whatever that means to you. When you look at the movie Soul, and I'm going to make a breakdown of it, and now I have a new lens to look at it. One of the characters was mean and was grumpy and cynical because they didn't love themselves. And they had such a poor self-image. So, anyway, that's that. But yeah, all this stuff we see, with the governments and evil and tyranny, I believe it's a smokescreen now. It doesn't matter. It's a joke. And that's why when you look at the conspiracy landscape, these people that are messing up the world, they seem so comical. They seem so over the top because they are. They're not real. They're all paper tigers, They're not real. I'm not saying they can't harm you, but they're not as real as we make them up to be. They're props. They are props in this stage play. In this stage play, the ultimate punchline when you get to the end of the stage, when you get to the end of the play, is you realize, oh snap, this whole thing was just so I can learn that I'm actually unconditional love at my core. It makes everything else seem so silly. So it's kind of weird that I was focusing on, what's the agenda of the NWO, or, feminism, or misandry, or men hating women, women hating men, wars, politics, banking systems. All that stuff seems irrelevant when you come face to face with that unconditional love. And you see how trivial that is. You see how trivial holding grudges against people is. Does this mean that I am a perfected being? No, I'm still going to make mistakes. I'm still largely going to be myself. But I do know now, without a shadow of a doubt, that one, there is something bigger out there that underlines all of existence. And that thing is benevolent. I do know that for sure now. When people talk about archons and how this is a prison planet, I didn't get that. I didn't get that feeling that this is a prison planet. That's not what I felt when I felt that unconditional love. So I'm not sure where people are getting the soul matrix trap and prison planet. I thought that before a day ago. I don't think that anymore. I really don't. I think it seems hellish. This life is difficult. It is difficult, but that's part of the joke. Again, the punchline is we made it more difficult than it had to be because we did not love each other. And once we learn that, it ceases to be that difficult. All right, guys, let me know what you think. I love you all. Comment. Let me know what you think about this, okay? Peace.